Okay, so good morning, teachers. I'm going to show you how to use Whiteboard, a digital whiteboard online with your class, with your students. So my first suggestion is that you guys do not register, because if you register, you're going to have a 7-day trial, and then it's going to ask you to purchase a license. And I believe the district hasn't purchased a license for us. So my suggestion will be that every time that you would like to use the whiteboard, the digital whiteboard, you create a new class. So I'm going to create a new class. I normally title it Miss Salinas-Ramos so that my students know that this will be my class. And I always enable the waiting room so that my students are either the link doesn't get lost and you don't get any weird people in your room. So I'm going to enable the waiting room lobby so that I can accept my students, and then I click create a new class. Once I create the new class, you will be able to see the link, and you can copy the URL to your clipboard, or you can just highlight and click Control-C. I'm going to copy the link, and I'm going to share it to my students over Zoom, because I normally have Zoom as well open. And then I share the link through the chat to my students. Okay. So once my students are logged in through the link, I will be able to see a pop-up window right here, like this one that says lobby, and I will be able to see who is in the waiting room. So far I have 3 students, and I'm still waiting for one more. And there you go. Once you have all of your students, you can click accept or click accept as your students are coming into the room. So I click accept. And once you click accept, you will be able to see all of your students' whiteboard. One of the advantages of using the whiteboard, this digital whiteboard, is that you are going to see all of your students in there. I have 30 of them, so I'm normally able to see all 30 of them. Now, if I give an instruction to my students, this is my toggle board. This is the page that I use so that I can share with my students. If I normally have Zoom and I share my screen with my students, you don't have to push this button right here, because, for example, I'm going to write an equation, or since we normally use it for math and Spanish grammar, I can write anything on the board using the drawing tool. You can also add a PDF and your students can see it, or you can add an image, insert an image, and then click push so that your students can see it. If you're not sharing your screen, then you can click the push button. If you're sharing your screen, then your students are able to see it as well. Okay. By any chance, if your students are not able to have like a split screen, then it will be beneficial to click the push button. Okay, so for example, I'm going to write the following expression. It will be 2 plus 3 to the 3rd power times 5. Okay, and you can push it to your students. You can click the push to all students pages, push to students current page only, or push to students as background, current page only. You can either do all of them. I will click on the push to students current page only. I will click on here, and then I will be able to see that my students have the equation or the expression that I wrote on my board, and they have the opportunity to solve it. So can you guys solve it right now so that the teachers can see how it goes? Okay, and this is a good opportunity to see how they're doing their work on real time. Okay, and you can provide them with feedback and see how they're following the steps that you already taught them. Okay, and then you maybe you can ask them how they solve the problem. You can ask them to share all of their work so that you can visually see their response and see where you can find a mistake or anything. I think this tool is perfect for math so that you can provide them with feedback right away. Okay, so thank you guys. I'm going to briefly just show another way of how this tool works for teachers. So for example, if you want to clear everyone's whiteboard and you want to show them another example, you will clear all student whiteboards. If you want to save your students' work, I will normally click over here where it says save all whiteboards as PDF. And if I click, I just type expressions. I give it a title. I can include my teacher whiteboard if I want to on the PDF in order to have the example that I gave, but it's not necessary. So just click Save as PDF and will automatically download to your computer. And I will have all of my students work as a PDF in order to show their work or have evidence of their work. Okay, so that's one of the tools that Whiteboard.fi has. Another thing that you can do is that you can also invite a co-teacher if you have, for example, an RSP teacher or an instructional aide. You can do that as well. You just share the link with that person. If you want to hide the student names, you can click hide student names so that no one can see their responses, but I normally prefer to have their names in there. Okay, so I'll click on click that one so that I can see and provide feedback right away. Okay. And that's pretty much it. I would like to stop sharing my screen and ask one of my students to share their screen so that you can see how their whiteboard looks on their end. Okay, so I'm going to ask Lainey, can you share your screen with us? Okay, so if you see, Lainey, can you scroll a little bit up? Your students have the ability to also see the toggle teacher whiteboard and their whiteboard. Okay, so Lainey, can you scroll a little bit down so that you can see, so that teachers can see what's at the end? Okay. So as Lainey writes on her whiteboard, I'm able to see her response, and it's pretty much a very similar window view. Okay, so thank you so much, and that's it. Thank you.